Have you ever wondered why some haircuts make us look older, even when they're supposed to do the opposite? Here's something most women aren't told. 5 of the most common medium-length styles actually add years, no matter how thick or healthy your hair was to start with. That surprised me too. I spent years trusting the latest magazine advice, only to find my hair looked flatter, my face looked harder, and the confidence I hoped for just didn't come. It's not just you. I've seen so many friends, women with beautiful hair, walk out of the salon disappointed, sometimes wishing they could just go back to what they had before. That's why I want to share something different today. If you've ever left the salon feeling less like yourself, this might be the answer you've been looking for. I'll show you the 5 most common haircut mistakes that quietly age women our age, and how a few gentle changes can make a world of difference. No drastic cuts, no harsh products, just real solutions for real women who want to look and feel their best. But here's what keeps me curious. Are you making one of these mistakes right now without even realizing it? You might be surprised by what you find. Let's start with the first one, because I have a feeling you've seen it more times than you think. Let's start with the first mistake I see far too often. Too many layers at the ends. On paper, it sounds gentle, a little movement, a bit of shape. But for women our age, it often leads to hair that looks thinner than it really is. When those bottom layers are overdone, your hair loses its body. It starts to look tired, and suddenly you notice every little gap or wisp that wasn't there before. Years ago, I remember seeing Helen Mirren at an awards show. Her bob had such beautiful structure. The secret? The fullness was left at the bottom, not carved away with layers. A friend of mine, Barbara, loved that look and tried to get the same result. Unfortunately, her stylist went heavy with the scissors. Afterward, Barbara felt exposed. Her hair just wouldn't hold a style, and it felt like every strand was fighting to find its place. This isn't just about appearances. Once the ends are thinned out, it's hard to bring back that healthy, lively feeling. No product can fake natural fullness if there's nothing left to work with. For so many of us, hair is a little comfort, something familiar that helps us feel polished, no matter what the day brings. Losing that can be unsettling. So, what's the gentle fix? Keep layers higher, away from those last few inches. Leave some substance at the bottom. It creates the illusion of thicker, healthier hair. You might be surprised how much more confident you feel when your hair has a little weight to it again. If you found this tip helpful, tap the like button so I know these videos are making a difference. And don't worry, the next mistake is even easier to fall into. It's a common choice when we want to soften our look, but it can have the opposite effect. I'll share what to watch for next. Have you ever looked at someone's hair and thought, something isn't quite right, but I can't put my finger on it? More often than not, it's because those face-framing layers have been cut too far back. I see this happen all the time, especially when someone asks for a little softness around the face. The intention is good, but the result can be unexpectedly harsh. You might notice it at a family gathering, maybe even in an old photo of yourself. The front looks fine at first, but if those layers extend too far behind the ear, they can drag the whole style downward. Instead of a gentle curve that brightens your features, you end up with an odd break, almost like the hair is splitting off in 2 directions. It sounds small, but it really does change everything. I used to believe that more layers meant a fresher, lighter look. But I learned, sometimes the hard way, that less is usually more, especially for us. One small misstep with the scissors, and suddenly your hair draws attention away from your eyes and cheekbones, not towards them. Even a style that feels modern can take years to grow out if the front layers go too deep. What helps most? Making sure those face-framing layers blend gently into the rest of your hair, never disappearing behind the ear. It's subtle, but it keeps everything feeling natural, graceful, and truly flattering. And here's something interesting. The next mistake is actually the one that gets labeled a quick fix in salons everywhere, but it can leave your hair looking more disconnected than ever. Let's talk about that next. Here's a little truth not enough people talk about. When the top of your hair is cut much shorter than the front, it rarely turns out as planned. In fact, this is one of the quickest ways a haircut can start to look unbalanced. We all want a little lift, but if that top layer gets too short, it creates a problem that's hard to ignore. Imagine setting a table where the centerpiece sits far below everything else. It just doesn't draw the eye the way it should. It's the same with our hair. If the top is noticeably shorter, the shape falls flat, and the lower layers start to weigh everything down. I've seen so many friends try this hoping for easy volume, only to end up with a style that feels unfinished. It's a disappointment, especially after the excitement of a fresh cut. I remember chatting with a group of women after a church luncheon, each of us comparing notes on our latest attempts to get that perfect lift. The consensus? When the top layer is too short, we all spend extra time every morning trying to coax some balance back into the style. The fix isn't complicated, but it is important. Ask for the shortest layers to blend gently with the length in the front. A little harmony in the cut makes a world of difference in how everything sits and feels. If you know someone who's always after that perfect volume, feel free to share this video with them. Next comes a mistake many believe will instantly soften the face. The truth? It can do the opposite, especially for women who want their features to look gentle and natural. Stay with me. You'll want to hear this. I'll admit it. I fell for this next mistake myself, thinking it would be an easy way to look more lively. It's the temptation to ask for the top of your haircut much shorter, hoping for instant volume and bounce. The logic seems sound. Take a little more off up top and maybe everything will spring to life. But here's how it really plays out. That short top layer makes the shape of your hair look almost boxy. The fullness you expected just isn't there. Instead, the sides seem heavier and the crown sits a bit too flat. I started noticing it most in photos, especially in the quick snapshots my grandchildren love to take. My hair always looked squarer, and somehow, my face did too. You might spot this at a community event or on social media, where so many women want to capture that youthful lift. But when the top is cut too short, it can be difficult to style, and the overall effect feels a little severe. Instead of a soft, elegant profile, the cut can add angles that weren't there before. I wish someone had told me that balance is everything. For most of us, letting the top layer stay a bit longer keeps the whole look softer and far more flattering. It also makes styling in the morning much easier. No more fighting for a gentle curve that just won't appear. Now, you might be wondering about bangs. Are they really the secret to a youthful look, or just another trap? Let's talk about that next. Is it true that bangs are always the answer for looking younger? A lot of women believe so. There's something about the idea of fresh bangs that feels like an instant makeover, a quick ticket to youthfulness. But here's the part nobody mentions. Blunt bangs that aren't blended into the rest of your hair can do the opposite. They draw a hard line across the face, sometimes making our features appear stronger than we'd like. I've heard friends say, "Just give me a full fringe and I'll look softer." But more often than not, those straight-across bangs without any connection to side layers can create a boxy frame. Instead of highlighting cheekbones, they make the face seem wider and less gentle. It's a subtle shift, but you might spot it next time you glance at a group photo or even in a candid snapshot. Here's something you can try right now: the mirror test. Pull the front section of your hair forward and hold it across your forehead. Then let a few pieces blend softly into the sides. Notice how even a slight transition changes the whole feel? That small difference brings harmony, rather than cutting your features in half. So before your next appointment, consider asking for bangs that gently blend into the rest of your hair. It's a simple request, but it can transform your look from sharp to naturally flattering. Finding the right style at our age isn't about following the latest trend or doing what works for someone else. It's about noticing what really makes you feel comfortable and confident, day in and day out. Small changes can make a huge difference. Maybe it's leaving a little more fullness at the ends, or asking for layers that blend more gently. Sometimes it's just letting go of an old idea about what youthful looks like and embracing the shape that feels most like you. When you look in the mirror and see a style that brings out your smile, that's the real win. You deserve hair that moves with you, flatters your features, and matches your spirit, no matter the year or the season. If any of these 5 mistakes sounded familiar, don't worry. Now you know what to watch for, and you have some simple ways to ask for the changes you want. I'd love to know, which hair mistake have you tried, and what worked better for you? Let's share our stories. If you found this helpful, feel free to subscribe or pass it along to a friend who's ready for a fresh look too. Here's to looking and feeling wonderful every single day.